Start. Everybody, you already know this boy Narcolepsy Boy 94. You came Malik back here again with another podcast. New guest, new on the channel. I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are. And like I said, if you want to plug in your stuff, you can plug in your stuff. Everybody can follow you and what you
do. What's up, everybody? My name's Axel. Right at the moment, I'm actually a preschool teacher, part-time TikToker, trying to do some little fun stuff. You guys can actually follow my TikTok at Axel Guzman 107, and let's get this started.
So, you've been a wrestling fan your whole life, pretty much your whole life.
Pretty much my whole life. My grandfather and uncle got me into it.
Okay, my uncle got me into wrestling when I was a kid. So you're from the Attitude Era, right? So you grew up in the Attitude Era. Did you grow up in the Attitude Era? Or you grew up in the Ruthless Aggression Era?
I mean, from what I can remember, I really remember the Attitude Era, but growing up, all I could hear my uncle saying was Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan. So I was watching them as a kid, but I can't really recall everything. But the Attitude Era is right there.
What's the first memory you have of wrestling? That's usually kind of where I start. Because I started watching wrestling in 2004, right? Ruthless Aggression Era. Right there, yeah. Cause I don't remember. I was watching before that, but I don't remember watching it. Like I remember. I can go back and remember the wrestling stuff, but I just don't remember watching it live. I didn't start really remembering until around like 2004, right around that time. That's when my memory's like real fresh. But what about you?
The first memory I really remember, man, Jeff Hardy swinging from that title belt and Edge coming down. It was being a kid watching it.
So that was WrestleMania 17. WrestleMania 17. Yeah. Okay. So how old were you around that time?
I want to say I was either 7 or 8.
Okay. 7 or 8. Yeah, see. I think, around that time, you're a little bit older than me. In 2001, I was like, oh gosh. In 2001, I was 4.
Yeah, I think I was 7. Yeah, if my math is right, 7.
Yeah, I was about 4 years old around then, so I don't really remember watching too much. I mean, I was watching because my uncle, he don't watch wrestling anymore, but he used to record back when he used to record shit back in the day.
VHS, man.
He used to work third shift, night shifts, so he used to record it, and I used to watch it with him and stuff. And I really didn't start falling in love with it right prior to around 2004. That's when I really started getting heavy into it. Like I would watch it, but I really wouldn't pay. Like I wouldn't keep up with it. And then I really started to pick up with it when I got about 2004. So around like 7 or 8 years old, right around there.
Yeah.
Right around that time period. So who was your favorite as a kid? Everybody a wrestling fan had their idol as a kid. So
my favorite was Jeff Hardy, man. Ever since that moment, the character, just everything.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy was always
all the extreme stuff. Like it's honestly because of them. When me and my little brother used to fight, I started using the weapons, and it just got a little too
much.
Yeah. You know, we had one of the fake title belts, and it just went north from there.
Yeah, I know. Well, Jeff Hardy was if anybody grew up around our age, Jeff Hardy was always somebody's favorite. At least he was especially when he started painting his face and stuff. That's when he was like alive. You know, so when he started
doing the face paint and all that.
Yeah, that's when he was starting to be dope. Jeff Hardy was always cool because the risk taker and stuff. That was always like just made him sit out and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody knows my favorite was John Cena though. I was a huge John Cena fan.
I don't blame him, man. I still remember to this day him coming out in them little shorts, going up to Kurt Angle, man.
Yeah.
To this day.
I was John Cena. I mean, he's still my favorite wrestler of all time because that was like, he was one of my idols. There's only 2 people I wanted to be like as a kid, and he was one of them. So, he definitely stood out to me in my mind. Another one of my favorites was Eddie Guerrero. He's definitely he was one of the first wrestlers that I started. I think it was Cena, Eddie Guerrero, and Booker T. Like my first 3 favorites before I started like kind of understanding it and started paying attention more to it, like starting to process it. But those 3 when I was a kid, those 3 stood out. And then Batista too. I got the Batista in there. Yeah. Batista was also in there. Undertaker as well.
Of course.
Those were in there. So growing up as a kid, you said your favorite was Jeff Hardy. Who were some of your other favorites?
That would be Triple H. Also gotta go with John Cena.
So you like Triple H? You know he was a bad guy. He was always a bad guy.
When you said another moment I can recall, for some reason, this was around the time when I wasn't really watching it. It's when he came back from the injury on Raw.
Oh, yeah. That was
I just remember it was a big thing. I came downstairs and it was just big, and I was just like, oh, let me see what's going on. And just the whole entrance, the atmosphere was just
That was insane, bro. That was insane.
It was. And I'm sitting here like, what's the whole thing? You know, because back then I thought everything was real.
Right, yeah.
Obviously the injury was real, but you know, as far as the storytelling, I'm like, I gotta figure out what's going on with this.
Right, yeah.
It was.
I remember. I don't remember watching that part live. That moment, obviously, that return is iconic. It's funny you say Triple H though, man. Not too many people from our era like Triple H around that time because he was always back, especially when they had Evolution for him. He always had that one. Oh my God, bro, that reign of terror.
I loved Evolution.
Oh, I loved Evolution too. I didn't look at it. I didn't look at it differently as everybody else did because I was a kid, so I didn't look at the reign of terror as a bad thing because. To me, he was the world champion, so I thought he was just the best. He had the belt.
Exactly.
He was the world champion. But like when you look at the politics behind it and everything, and you get older, you're kind of like, okay, he had the belt a little bit too much. You feel me? But you know, it's like, because even like back then, like even though Evolution was bad team, I liked them, but I never looked at even like when he beat Booker T at WrestleMania. Like I didn't look at it as like that was corny. You know what I mean? Because like as a kid. I didn't see it that way, but like as I got older and I watched the storyline, and then I saw the outcome, I was like, "Damn, they did Booker T dirty, bro! Like he definitely should have." So you just don't see, I mean, obviously Triple H is a good heel, though. He was always a great heel,
and I think that's what it was because you know you always got to have your good guy and your bad guy, and just for Triple H around that time, it was just he was that bad guy.
So who was somebody you said Triple H? You only liked Jeff Hardy was your favorite. Who else did you say? You said somebody else?
Said Edge, Stone Cold. And for recent, Dean Ambrose.
Obviously, Stone Cold, bro. Stone Cold.
Yeah, Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
That scene at the grocery store.
I always personally like The Rock more, but Stone Cold I think he's the bigger star, though. You know, Austin is, and wrestling was huge by far. So who are some of we talked about some of the wrestlers, like who are some of the wrestlers you hated as a kid? Like we all, as you're a kid, you always had those wrestlers you hated, you couldn't stand at one point.
Like as I got older, I grew to like him, but since I'm a John Cena fan, Edge was just one of those that I couldn't.
Oh man, I couldn't stand him.
And then around that time, that's when you got older and you got to the internet, so you learned the back stuff, and then finding out the real life about Edge and Matt and how that was real.
Oh yeah.
Like you thinking you don't like him because it's just story wise, but then you find out Matt Hardy comes back, Ring of Honor. Like, it was just
the three people I hated the most, which I love them now. They're all great. Edge is one of them. Randy Orton and Chris Jericho. Couldn't stand either of those.
Jericho. Now that I'm older, I respect him, but
he's one of the greats. Yeah, he's one of the greats. He's one of the goats easily. I mean, all right. So we always read some questions in the chat. Somebody in the question wants to know: do you think they should bring back the World Heavyweight Championship?
I really do think they should bring that back.
I don't understand why they got rid of that. I know. I never understood that.
I really don't like. I got the whole fusing of the titles and everything, but then you dragged it on with separating it again. So what was the purpose of bringing it together?
I don't understand. I mean, the Universal title was, it's just corny to me. I'm not really a big fan of the title personally, but the World title was so iconic because so many legends. It was just as important as the WWE title because so many legends and so many people have held it. You know what I'm saying? It's a main event, many pay-per-views and everything.
Exactly.
You could have had. Last time we saw was when they put it on when Brock won both the belts. You know what I mean, at SummerSlam. But you still could have separated the titles. You know, if they wanted, say like Brock won the belts and he only wanted to keep one belt. I'm saying you could have just had him beat the WWE champion or something. You know what I mean, like he didn't have to unify. I mean, they made it into one world title, which wasn't bad at that time because it was pretty cool. The roster was limited with star power.
Yeah, for the storyline, it was good, but to keep it going.
Then when they separated the brands again. Obviously Raw is gonna have a world title.
Exactly.
They brought the Universal title in. I was like, what is this? People hated that too, especially when they revealed it and it was all red and everything. People were like, oh man.
It was too much. They were trying the whole brand split, it was just too much. Too much. And when you have the world title, it's just it defines so much more for you. Like compared to when Batista held the world title to when he held the WWE championship. It just brought so much more. Undertaker. You just think of all the greats and it's just even Edge.
Yeah, Edge, one of the best world champions. He had it more than anybody. Actually, he won the title more than anybody, I believe. He always had the world heavyweight title too. So I think they should bring back the world title too. Someone else wants to know, should they bring back the spinner belt? I'm gonna say no, just because that only fit John Cena's character. That really doesn't work with anybody else, to be honest.
Definitely not no more. Like maybe 4 years back, maybe, but definitely not. Like you said, it's just John Cena, and they would need him to fit in the storyline to make that belt.
Yeah, and he's not there anymore either, so it doesn't really add up. All right, one more question before we move on to chat. Somebody wants to know, what's your favorite TNA tag team?
TNA tag team.
Mine was definitely Beer Money Incorporated. Bobby Roode and James
Storm.
Yeah,
now that you think about it, yeah, it was Beer Money. Now that you think about it, because I'm really thinking hard, and that's all I can really remember. Because back in those times, I was going back and forth with WWE and TNA because obviously Jeff Hardy.
Right.
I was trying to stay, so I wasn't trying to stick too much to it, but they were just one of the tag teams that just stuck out. Because, Beer Money, the name, it was just...
Beer Money. Motor City Machine Guns, too, I liked them a lot. LAX, I liked them a lot. But definitely Beer Money Incorporated. They were... Man of Mafia, too, was live, too, but Beer Money Incorporated was the shit. They were live, for real. Right. Who's your favorite? I'm pretty sure they're going to say the Hardy Boys. Who's your favorite WWE tag team?
Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys, yeah. Mine would probably be the Hardy Boys, too. My favorite faction, though, see, we talked about, Evolution and everything. For the longest, my favorite faction was always Evolution. That was like number one. Like, they're always my favorite faction, but see, how long have been? So about 6 years ago. So Evolution was always number one until the Shield came on, and when the Shield came on, they won me over. They definitely won me over. Something about them, man. It was just.
I mean, Roman took a little longer to get into the fit, but they made it work.
The Shield was just, I don't know. I messed with everything they did. The entrance, walking to the crowd, the theme song, the attire, the motto they had, of the story, with the reason they came to the main roster and everything. Yeah. I thought they was lit. The Shield was definitely my favorite. NWO too was another one. NWO is another one because DX too, obviously DX.
Of course, DX.
So, what are some things about wrestling now that you miss? I'm sure you follow social media and you always see a lot of people complaining about creative processing or storytelling or something like that. What do you want to see change different, or do you think that they need?
For my personal experience, because my favorite WWE superstar left for this reasoning, I feel like they need to give the superstars just more time to be them. Because speaking of Dean Ambrose,
Moxley, Moxley.
Because it's just, you need to give them more time to do them. Because like how they do with The Miz.
Yeah.
Granted, creative is a part of that, but it's mostly his stuff.
Right.
He's just The Miz. They need to do more of that with more of the superstars, because the creative is kind of going down. It's been going down lately.
It's been down for a couple of years, in my opinion. I don't understand the whole concept of NXT. You have Triple H bringing these stars, and he builds them up as legit stars, and then he sends them to the main roster. He's pretty much handing you something on a silver platter, and then they come to the main roster, and they change them. They change their names. They change their attire, their themes. They don't put them on TV. It's like, I don't understand. Like, why are you? What's the point of NXT? Supposed to be developing talent, and he's done that. Triple H has done that consistently for years. He's brought in people that everybody's loved or got so over. Like, I don't understand.
One of the biggest years, 2016.
Yes.
Like, come on. And I just and for another example, Shinsuke.
Oh, that hurts me so much.
You bring him, and NXT is what made me such a big fan, because the entrance, just the style of work. Okay, he couldn't cut a promo as good as the next guy, but okay, that's fine. The wrestling made up for that. You make him win the Royal Rumble, which I just recently watched, to what he's doing now.
And he's not on TV anymore. And then he lost.
The last thing I can remember was him and Sami Zayn running around.
It's so bad too, man. It's the same thing with Asuka too. She was dominant, bro. She was dominant, and she comes to the roster. She won the Rumble too, the same night, Shinsuke. Yep. And she goes to WrestleMania. Obviously, she was never going to be undefeated forever. You know what I mean? Like, she was going to lose at some point, but the people have a problem with her losing to Charlotte. It's just because of who she is, and people feel like she gets handed too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, Charlotte's not bad. She's great. I'm not knocking Charlotte.
Boy,
she's fantastic.
for what she used to be, she has definitely gotten a lot better. From the beginning, she got mic skills and everything got way better, but
she's one of the best.
As far as the beginning pushing her too much, it was a problem. But like you said, the streak had to end.
Right.
You can't, because then you do that so long with so many different superstars, we know it's going to happen. So
I said that she was going to lose because they were going back to the same building where Brock ended the Undertaker streak. I'm like, well, they're going to end the streak of Asuka at WrestleMania in the same building because this is where the streak ended. All the streaks end right here, and still in the Superdome. And the Shinsuke one that hurts me the most, bro. I don't know if you watch the stuff in New Japan, but bro,
I started watching some stuff after I got to know him in NXT, and that's why it hurt me so much. He did so much, got here, and it's just such a spit in the face.
Same with Bobby Roode's another one too for me. That one hurt my soul too. He had so much potential. Sami Zayn, he was high at one point. Adrian Neville before he left, Pac.
They never put the title on. They missed the opportunity for Sami Zayn for the title. They waited too late for him.
Enzo and Big Cass, they were extremely over as a team. That didn't last,
The Enzo and Big Cass also hurts me a lot too, man. They
were really over. They were really, really over at one point. And there's so many. I mean, Shayna Baszler now, she was dominant too. She's not even doing nothing anymore. Ember Moon went back to NXT. Finn Balor had to go back to NXT to revive himself. I mean, there's so many talents that have come up to the main roster that people don't value them. They don't properly use them the way they should be. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. It's supposed to be developing new talent. You're asking for star power. You're asking for new talent. That's what WWE lacks, and mostly is star power and talent. Exactly. And they bring in new, fresh people, and then they don't do anything with it. They're still relying on these old wrestlers to come back and sell out arenas and everything. Which it's not bad to bring those guys back, but you can't rely on those guys forever. They're not going to be around.
Exactly, and these guys are champions from other promotions. They were world champions for all these other promotions. So I don't get what stops them from doing it here.
I don't understand it either. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, there are obviously certain people in WWE who have protected spots that they will use because those are the people. Those are the company people. Those are the people that they want in those positions. So obviously they'll keep forward with those people. Which they've always done that. So they've always had the company guy. Vince has always had his guy. Face of the company, he's the type of guy. But nowadays, the roster has so much talent on it, but you're only using a certain amount of the roster to be used in positions that other people can be used in, that we would value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. I don't know why. They're just looking at the Keith Lee now. What's up with Keith Lee? Like,
such a big push, and then I'm on the internet and I'm reading, the push is gonna stop. For what? Now there's talks he might go back down to NXT, and he's over. What more is it?
He was over. I mean, he had a great run at NXT. He came to the main roster. The first night they changed his theme, and they changed his attire, and I was like,
they do it all the time.
They're his first night on Raw. They already changed him. Already, his first night. There's nothing wrong with him.
These fans know him from NXT. They know who he is. You can't just do that.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. Do you like what AEW's doing right now?
I do. I really, really do. And even though Jon Moxley is my favorite, taking the belt off of him, perfect. It keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, Kenny winning the belt was dope, especially them collabing with Impact Wrestling too. That's
that's really big.
That's a big check mark. Yeah, that's a big plus. How do you feel about Sting though? What's your thoughts on Sting wrestling again? Maybe what do you think about that?
I think it would be good. I think with WWE, I heard a few talks that he was supposed to come back for them, but it's just I think the main problem is creative. You want some of these legends to come back, and you don't give them enough power to do what they want to do, and it's kind of I can go over here, and I think that's what's happening. Because Cody Rhodes is well known. It's not like Cody Rhodes is just somebody who was a fan of this business. He knows the business.
Yeah.
So you're not really taking that big of a chance. This is Dusty Rhodes' son.
Well, I heard that he wanted some type of cinematic match with the Undertaker, which was, that was always the dream match that the fans wanted. But Sting is 61 now, and the last time we saw him in the ring, he got hurt pretty bad, with the spinal stenosis and everything with Seth Rollins. Are you for him wrestling again, or do you not want to see it, or to you, it's up to Sting in your mind? Like, it doesn't really matter what I think. How do you feel about it?
I think he should take more of a manager role because, like you said, after with Seth Rollins, I think that was a wake-up call because that can happen at any time.
Right.
You can be the most safest superstar and things can happen.
Well, I think I personally think, with his age, like I said, he's 61. I think at his age, he wouldn't come back and wrestle unless he knew, unless a doctor or some many doctors told him that he could do it and be safe in a way. You know what I mean?
At his age, take only a certain amount of bumps and all of that.
Right. Because at his age, you don't want to take risks like that. Exactly. At his age, because people have, they've teased him and Darby Allin doing something. They've teased him and Jericho doing something. They've teased him and Kenny Omega, him and Cody Rhodes. So
Sting and Jericho, that would be. And see, even with Jericho is one of the safest workers, but there's still that risk. Right,
because Jericho's 50. You know what I mean? So Jericho's, exactly. He's not a young man, but Jericho can still go, but he's not a young man no more. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I guess I'm not against it. I'm not for it, but if it's Sting's decision and he wants to do it, then I guess I'm gonna respect it. I'm saying it's his decision. So if he chooses that he wants to freaking come back, then that's his option to do that. He has the right to do that. Obviously, so he doesn't get hurt, but it just makes me think, I don't know if he should be doing that. You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
So you wouldn't mind if he didn't wrestle at all?
It would be amazing, but for a match for him, it would need too many spots, and at his age, it just wouldn't work. But the type of bumps he would need to take.
So you don't think it would work no matter? You don't think it would work no matter who he fought?
I think it would work, but you would be able to see it's not what we want. We would want more stuff, not just one bump here, one bump there. We would want the full experience.
So you don't see him doing 20, 30-minute match?
Definitely not. Because I thought, okay, Goldberg could do that, and then look what happened with that. So I can't really take these chances.
Well, Goldberg never had long matches though, so his matches were always squash matches, and even in his prime, that's just the character of what he did. He just squashed people. You know what I mean?
Let's not talk about that streak, but
he just destroyed people. That's what he did. I guess you can use Undertaker as an example. The older he got, the more obviously he fell off because he wasn't.
You can do.
Yeah, he wasn't able to do much. It was hard to watch him the last couple of years wrestle and get in the ring because he just wasn't able to be the full-blown Undertaker 100% that we all knew he could be. You know what I'm saying? Especially when he was in shape and at the peak of his career,
Yeah. But you could, if you really pay attention to the Brock Lesnar Undertaker match, you were really able to tell at the time that.
Well, he got hurt in that match. Yeah, he got it. So he really got hurt. He actually left. He went to the hospital after that match at Wrestlemania. So, after that, it fell downhill. He already looked in bad shape too that year too. He looked kind of weird and everything, but
it's just that opponent was just a little too much, I think, in my mind. But
what do you mean?
I understand. Brock Lesnar, for the age and everything, and the type of stuff he does in the ring, I think it was too much, but I understand the storyline. It was perfect. It got me.
Right.
It got me as a kid.
So you don't think Brock was the perfect opponent for Taker that year at WrestleMania?
For age-wise, no, but for story-wise, it was perfect.
So how did you feel about him ending the streak?
Like I just told you, it was that was the biggest. That was one time WWE got me. Because I'm thinking, all right, whatever, this is not going to happen. But after thinking about it and everything, I think it was perfect. Especially after finding out Undertaker was, he was okay with it. Also finding out that there was times he wanted other superstars to end it. So I feel like he wanted it at that time to get it done. And I think it was the right time.
So you think Brock ending the streak was okay? You're okay with it?
At the time it happened, no. But after years of going back and watching everything and learning everything I did learn, I think they did it perfect.
See,
it was the big done. You
right,
see the
right.
fans' faces. It was nobody thought.
Obviously, whoever ended the streak, the reaction I think would have been the same. But obviously, Brock is very believable just because he's Brock Lesnar. So I mean, look at him; he's very believable. But I think Undertaker said that he think that Brock didn't need the streak, which I also agree. I don't think he needed the streak because I think somebody else younger could have benefited more from being the streak. Somebody like a Bray Wyatt or Roman Reigns, or somebody who could have benefited more and helped made them solidify them. Because Brock was already solidified by then. I mean,
Brock Lesnar.
He's already a top dog. So I mean, him ending the streak, I get it. I understand it just because he's believable and everything. I'm still 50-50 about it. I don't really know if I'll ever be one side for it just because would I have done it differently? Yes, but I understand why it was done that way. So I'm kind of 50-50 with it, like split on. I don't know. It's hard to say, really. It's really hard to say because the streak was so important to a lot of wrestling fans, and obviously Undertaker was getting older. The streak's gonna at some point, you know what I mean? Or at least
it was just gonna stop. At one point, they would just stop it, and it would be perfect. That's what I thought. I thought it was gonna go down as the perfect streak.
Yeah, or you just thought it was gonna end at some point, or you just thought it was gonna be the perfect streak. But having Brock do it, I don't know. It's because mainly he lost to Roman too, which was I understood, but him losing 2 matches at WrestleMania just doesn't sit well with me, just because of the longevity of the streak. And if the streak was going to end at some point, that should have been his actual last match. Like he should have retired for that because.
And I feel the same way. At that night, it ended. It should have never continued. But then you give him more matches. You give us the Bray Wyatt. You give us the Roman Reigns match, and it's kind of late for that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it was a little too late for that time period, especially with him getting older and aging and everything.
Exactly.
The cards weren't there, anymore for me at least. Who are some of your favorites right now in WWE or any promotion?
You got John Moxley. You got AJ. Right now, Roman actually is starting to grow on me. I think he's doing his character perfect.
Yeah, the tribal chief. Yeah.
Finally he found something that works for him.
So you didn't like the big dog Roman Reigns, the other version of Roman?
Because that was the time they were just trying to shove it. They were just trying to shove it down our throats. Like it was just Roman Reigns. Now you can actually feel it. Like, okay, now he's actually working for it. The storyline is amazing. The Usos, it's
the force of Roman being shoved down everybody's throats to be pretty much telling us to accept him as the new guy was. It's not the way you should have pushed him. You know what I mean? That was just the worst thing they could have done. And I don't think it hurt Roman in any way because he was still a superstar. But
exactly,
people just rejected him. They refused to accept him for a long period of time. I don't think that he's the tribal chief, the head of the table. Now his character is like the shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like this is talking. I dig it. I just think he's a new theme song for his character. Which hopefully they can get a new theme for him eventually.
Eventually. Can't tell you how much it killed me when all three of them split and here comes Roman with the Shield theme song.
Yeah, it's just modified, yeah.
And then I think maybe next year.
So how do you feel potentially about the story they're doing with Roman leading up to a match with him and The Rock at WrestleMania?
I've been waiting for it. I knew they were going to do it sometime.
So you think it's going to happen for sure?
If it's coming up now, it should happen. But if they're going to wait on it, just...
Well, now's the perfect time.
Exactly. It's the tribal chief. No, The Rock. Technically, The Rock is. I can see the storyline happening right now. It would be beautiful, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen right now. This WrestleMania.
But what if WrestleMania can't have fans? Do you feel like it'll happen?
I don't know. After how I felt after seeing Drew win that title and just no reaction, I don't know.
It hurt.
I don't know. It hurt me so bad because I've been actually watching older clips of wrestling and seeing him as Drew McIntyre, the chosen one, no beard, Intercontinental Champion. And it's just like to see where he was now. It's just he deserved that pop.
Even when he was Drew Galloway on the indie scene too, man, he held all the big belts. You know what I'm saying he reinvented himself.
He did.
And the match with him and Brock, I think, would have been great at that WrestleMania. The main event would have been cool because people would have loved, Brock losing and Drew getting the belt. I just don't see it happening with no fans. If they can't have fans, I just don't see The Rock coming back with a crowd that has no audience. He's too big of a star for that.
They need to figure something out where they can have a certain amount or something to work it out. Because, like you said, without the crowd reaction, it won't be the same.
There were also other rumors too that Roman Reigns' opponent for WrestleMania could be Goldberg. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't want to see that.
So you don't want to see it at all? You're not for it?
Nah, I think the whole Goldberg coming back, Brock Lesnar, I think that was the way he should have left. Because if I'm not mistaken, he even recently came back again, took the title off of The Fiend.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't understand what was the reason, and then next thing you know, a couple weeks later, he's gone. So I wouldn't want to see that because they'll try to take the title off of Roman, force Goldberg down our throats again.
So you think Goldberg would beat Roman if they fought?
Nah.
I don't either. I don't either.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say like you think they would let Roman lose to Goldberg, but I don't see them making Roman lose.
And it wouldn't be believable.
Well, he beat the Fiend. That wasn't believable either. So I mean,
yeah, you're right.
I don't think. I mean, that match is gonna happen at some point because Goldberg's already been taking shots on social media to Roman and everything, and Roman's been taking shots back. So eventually, the match will happen. I just don't think. I mean, if it does, Goldberg has to lose. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He can't win.
Exactly.
It only makes sense for him to lose. And go ahead. My fault.
Oh no, it wouldn't make any sense. Like the Battle of the Spear would be cool and all, but it just if you're gonna have to choose, have that as the WrestleMania match. If we can't have fans,
that's how I feel about it.
But if you're gonna go with The Rock and Roman, we need some fans, something.
With this COVID situation, that's crazy, man, because COVID and everything, and it's not under control. Who knows when it'll get under control? Yeah, they're developing a vaccine right now, and it may take a couple years. I don't know. Who knows? We don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I think Goldberg should be the opponent if they're going to have no fans, or even if they have a small little crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like just a small little hoopla, like a small little crowd, and then I could see that match possibly happen. I think that's the backup thing. I don't see some people want Big E. Some people want Big E, but I don't see them pushing Big E for that spot yet.
No, not yet. They just separated, so you need to build the steam like when he was his solo the first time around.
Yeah,
you need to get his character back. And on the WrestleMania match, you can't have a match with the People's Champion with no people. You can't.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree 100%. I'm with you on that. I don't see. I definitely. He's just not coming. The Rock's not coming back with no fans. He's just too big of a star to wrestle in front of zero people. That's fucking pointless. That doesn't make any sense.
Even if they try to put it in the Thunderdome, it still won't be the same.
No, because they would draw more money with the venue of the people.
Exactly.
Because he's The Rock. And I think he's too wasted of a talent to have. I don't know. I just can't see it happen with no fans. It just wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Just hear The Rock's music, and him walk out to that curtain and just nobody's there. Or even if it's like a little PC crowd, you know what I mean? Like this is
because even everything, the little pieces, when The Rock comes out, he's looking at the crowd, he's looking at the fans. It's gonna feel different. He's looking even the little things. The match just would not work.
Give me some matches you want to see happen at WrestleMania next year.
I honestly want to see Seth and AJ, if it can happen. I know the whole baby situation right now. I don't know how long he's going to take time off. But that right now, that's something I would want to see. Just the high flying and everything, it would just work perfectly.
Okay.
But the problem would be, who's the heel, who's the face?
Probably AJ's face. Seth.
You think so?
The Messiah gimmick is too good. It's better than what AJ's gimmick doing right now. Like the Messiah gimmick has to be the heel.
So you think when he comes back, they'll stick with that gimmick?
They should. I mean, they definitely should. I don't think they should. Don't think the other character was getting too stale. I don't think they should bring back, the other Seth Rollins. His Messiah gimmick was really over, actually. So I think you stick with it and you roll with it, you keep it going. What are some other matches that you have in your mind?
I can't even think right now, but for dream, if you want to talk about dream matches, any promotions or anything, I honestly, it would just be beautiful to see Seth Rollins and Jon Moxley just one more time. If it could just work. Because just like how they're making it work with Impact, if there was just a way to make it work, that's so much money being drawn into it. Yeah, I know it will never happen because I know Vince McMahon is Vince McMahon, but
I don't. So you don't think the WWE will be willing to reach out and collab with other promotions?
As of right now, with Vince in power, I don't ever see it happening again.
Why? Why is that? For your reason?
Just growing up watching this man, real life and in the WWE, he just needs the power. He just wants the control. If there's a possibility to do it and he has all the control, it's going to happen. But we'll just have another incident of ECW.
Yeah,
they brought that back. He wanted all the creative stuff, but they didn't want to. And then what happened? It dies. Vince McMahon gets the ECW championship.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to have them merge with AEW and then that's the way they kill them.
Well, that's his mindset. I think he looks at WWE as the monster, which they are, and they should be the only wrestling company left standing on the universe. And his track record has shown that he's either bought wrestling promotions from other promoters or he's run them out of business. I mean, he tried to do one of the two. So you think if they did a collab with like New Japan that he would be too controlling for them? Like he wouldn't be open-minded to doing other stuff?
I mean, there's an example with Shinsuke. I'm pretty sure they had a lot of ideas, but it's whatever the boss wants.
How about who are some people you think they should collab with? Then, if WWE has the opportunity to, who do you think they should go after, or they think if that collab right there would make you watch it? Like, I'll definitely watch that shit.
Either with AEW or Impact. I've been wanting them to do a collab with Impact since Ric Flair retired, got into the Hall of Fame, and went to Impact. Hulk Hogan, all of them. That's when, and that would have been perfect. Kurt Angle, that would be a dream. And for example, somebody who was in WWE as a jobber is now the champion at Impact in Rich Swann.
Yeah. I think I'd like to see New Japan. I'd love to see them do a collaboration with New Japan Pro Wrestling just because New Japan's my favorite wrestling promotion right now. I love New Japan, so I would love to see them do a collaboration with New Japan. I think that would be huge.
The marketing would be beautiful for that, though. I'll tell you that much.
Well, the ratings would be crazy. It doesn't matter who they collab with. They could collab with Ring of Honor. You know what I'm saying? The ratings would be cool just because they're doing an invasion type thing. They're doing a collaboration with another wrestling promotion. Who would have thought Vince McMahon would do a collaboration with another wrestling promotion? You know what I mean?
And that would bring the attention just off the bat.
Yeah, it should, at least in my opinion. I think it should 100%.
If you're a WWE fan and if you know Mr. McMahon, that would draw your attention. He's doing what? He doesn't even want NXT stars to come up and be themselves, and that's in his own company. That would be amazing.
So, who are some of your favorite NXT superstars right now down there in NXT, getting ran by Triple H?
You know, you got my boy who went back. You got Finn Balor. You got it's just all of them, man. Because most of the ones who are there that are my favorite now were on the main roster. That's why I just don't understand why they got kicked back down. The stories were perfect.
Just like who? Name some people besides Balor. You said Finn Balor was one of them.
Can't even think right now. It's been because today I was just filling my mind with WWE stuff. But there's a few of them. I'm not sure. Can't even recall his name though. But I'm pretty sure you know who he is. Big, muscular, big beard. I was actually watching it the other day. They were in a Warzone.
Pat McAfee?
Yeah. How can I forget the Undisputed Era? That's my fault. Adam Cole, all them boys.
So Pat, you saying you like Pat McAfee? He's not really. He's more of like a broadcaster. That's what he does. That's like his thing.
Yeah.
So you said like what were you saying about him? I don't understand. Like you were saying like you saying like you like him or like you were saying like
you know, I'm kind of if you can bring someone else from another certain thing and you can make it work, I like that type of thing. Like, granted, he's not a wrestler. He's like, for example, with Grunk, when they tried to do the thing with Grunk, it just didn't work.
Well, one of the things that happened is he went back to football. I don't think WWE knew that he wanted to go back and play the NFL.
Yeah,
he just signed it was weird. He just signed a contract and then but they announced he signed the contract. Yeah, his first match was supposed to be at SummerSlam, and then he went back to the NFL to play with Brady in Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? So
yeah. But like you know, with the Mojo Riley, that's where I was getting at. You know, I just didn't see it working. If that was the gimmick they were going to try with him.
Yeah, I don't see that working either. I guess they felt like.
And even when he came out, when he tried to introduce himself again with the COVID situation, no fans. It's just I can't see how you can build someone up that's not from the industry with no one there.
I think he maybe has potential because he's a big fan. So
yeah,
maybe he could have potential, but like right now, AEW doing stuff with Shaq. How do you feel about that? Like that could be, you know.
I actually recently saw that. That was hilarious. But again, Shaq is someone who's been in the business before.
Right.
He went against the Big Show. Can't forget that.
Yeah, in the Battle Royal. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually pretty cool. I like when they do stuff like that and it works. Because the other day I was actually watching Pat McAfee's podcast and I'm like, what's going on with his neck? And then I'm like, oh wait. That's right. He jumped off.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know. I feel like I think Shaq is a great addition to the wrestling. I always said that I thought he could be a very good celebrity that transformed into wrestling and do stuff because he was a fan and he cares, you know what I mean? So I thought like he could always have potential to do things.
Yeah.
And I think Conor McGregor would be another good one. I think personally, I think he would be a great.
When those tweets were going back and forth between him and all the WWE superstars, I want it to happen.
Who would you want to see him face if he came? Who would you put him up against?
Roman.
Okay, I like that. I would put him up against John Cena if he came back. I would really set up a huge match for WrestleMania. Because I'm sure Conor's going to leave at the WrestleMania anyway. Cena's going to leave at the WrestleMania too because he's an actor now.
Yeah.
Set up a huge match because you have the two stars who are very good at promoting their stuff, very well spoken. Conor McGregor is a very good trash talker. John Cena is very good at firing back against trash talkers. You have John Cena, who's one of the biggest stars in WWE history. Conor McGregor is the biggest star in UFC history. They're both box office attractions all around the world. They sell out arenas wherever they go. They have two different styles. Conor McGregor's a fighter. John Cena's a wrestler. And I think he'd be pretty unpredictable about who goes over.
Yeah, you're right. It really could.
And you could build it up greatly. Set up a press conference. You know, have John Cena and Vince McMahon on the WWE side, Dana White and Conor McGregor on the UFC side. You can set up a big press conference and have Bleacher Report, ESPN, Sports Center all cover it. You know what I mean? Get a big attraction. It's going to draw big money. It won't be a show stealer match, but it's more of an attraction, kind of like Big Show and Floyd Mayweather when they did that at WrestleMania 24. That was an attraction match. You know what I mean? And that worked. It
worked perfect.
It worked perfectly. I think you have McGregor and Cena. I think it would work perfectly because Cena representing the WWE. Cena was the heartbeat of WWE for so long. I mean, it makes sense for him to represent. It makes sense for him to represent WWE and Conor McGregor, the face of UFC.
From what I can remember from UFC, he is the face.
He was the face, yeah. He was the biggest star they had. So him representing the UFC is an honor of pride. You know what I'm saying? It's an honor of dignity. I mean, Conor would just have to learn how to bump in the ring and learn how to do some simple stuff. You know what I mean? But that's stuff that he can learn that stuff. That's stuff
boxing. So yeah,
that's
I'm pretty sure he'll be good with it.
That stuff he could freaking learn easily. No sweat. He could learn that easily. It just takes a couple months, performance center, get in the ring, bump around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's already good at promos, so you put a mic in his hand, people are going to listen. Him and John Cena. John Cena's good at promos too, so put those two on the mic back and forth together. It's money to me. I think it draws shit ton of money. That's how I feel about it. Yeah. I mean, Roman could be cool too, but because him and Paul Heyman going on the mic together would be incredible. You know what I mean? Because anytime Paul Heyman speaks, you listen because he's so good on the mic.
Exactly.
I think John Cena would be just the right fit for that particular star power match. Yeah.
For the box office, you're right.
For the attraction, because it's mainly attraction. So having Cena step in there for WWE and have McGregor on the UFC side, you're kind of like, whoa, like what's gonna happen here? You know what I mean? Like
this is big.
Yeah, it'll be huge. It'll be monumentally huge. So, I mean, I doubt they would do that match anyway. But that's just like something I've always thought that would be pretty cool in my mind. Someone in the chat wants to know: do you like Undisputed Era more as heel or faces?
Definitely heels.
Heels, 100%. Yeah.
Just remembering how they came into the scene into NXT, it was just like I'm all about. Just getting me. You got me so good. It's so believable, especially at my age. Like I'm 28, so if you can get me back to just the same way it was for childhood, the storylines and everything, I'm sold.
Another one wants to know: do you think the Intercontinental Championship is better now or the old white one?
Better than which one?
Which one do you like better, the old white Intercontinental title or the one they have now?
The old Intercontinental title. And we're talking about the Jeff Hardy, the Chris Jericho title.
He's talking about the white one, so the one they previously had. The white.
So the Miz title. Okay.
Yeah, the white one.
Even if that one still, because you got so many stories behind it as the Miz, Zack Ryder. So,
give me some of your favorite storylines that you were like truly invested in. Like you remember, like it gave you goosebumps. Like that storyline was just. Give me a couple.
I can easily go ahead and say the Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, but as for realness, that Triple H and Randy Orton feud.
The one for WrestleMania 25?
The McMahons, when it's Monday Night Raw, Randy's in there with
Randy Orton was
comes out.
Randy Orton was on a path that year, bro. He was so savage that year, bro.
And then growing up knowing now, just like now feeling it. Like he really RKO'd Stephanie.
Bro,
it was just so much. The house invasion, everything.
Kicking people in the head, and Randy was that was his best year. 2009 was his best year, I believe, in my opinion. What are some other storylines that you liked? Excuse me.
One that I really like, I want Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels.
That was a really good one too, actually. Yeah.
The Jeritron.
That was his best year. That was one of his best years. Jericho in 2008 was an incredible heel. Who are some? Give me some other ones. Drop some other ones on me.
Let's see. We got some other ones. I know this one is one of yours also, but just thinking about how well they did it, and we were just talking about entertainment-wise, John Cena and The Rock Part 1.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was an entire year in the build-up too. So,
and that's why it's so good, because you think a whole year, how are they going to stretch that out? And it worked.
What are some of your favorite WrestleMania storylines?
WrestleMania storylines.
Like building up to WrestleMania storylines and matches.
Definitely got to throw the Jeff and Matt in there because that was another situation when I'm young and they just got me. I'm like, can't be Matt. And just the build-up was amazing. I didn't think they were going to go with the way they ended the match, the way they did it, but it still ended perfect. I want to say definitely an old one, Stone Cold and The Rock.
Okay. What's some other ones?
That was, if I'm not mistaken, that was kind of the passing the torch almost in a sense.
They had they were both the two top guys, obviously.
Yeah.
Easily. And they had 3 WrestleMania matches, which were all, they were all pretty good matches actually. What are some other ones that you have?
Let's see. I'm trying to think way back. I'm trying to think. Another one, Edge and The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. That was another one, that build up. And then, you had the wonderful Vicky Guerrero. She can always make a storyline more than what it is.
Yeah, I just posted a video on my TikTok about the Undertaker and Edge feud from 2008, which was a good one. I like that one. John Cena and CM Punk was one of my favorite rivalries of the last era. John Cena and Edge. The Streak versus Career. That's probably my favorite storyline of all time. Streak versus Career. That really had me invested heavily into that story, and that build up everything was really good.
And then the build off of other matches that came from that.
Yeah, well, the 2 matches he had, with Triple H. Yeah.
Where I really thought the streak was going to end after that super kick to the pedigree. That right there.
That's the greatest 1-2 kick out ever, bro. Like that got everybody. Everybody thought it was over. That's the greatest false finish of all time.
Music into the pedigree.
The Randy Orton Triple H storyline, I really loved the match. At WrestleMania didn't live up to the potential. And I think Randy Orton should have won that match too. But the story
before Triple H, going over most of the time.
Storyline wise, loved it. I mean, storyline was great. They did everything in there. That was great. The Daniel Bryan versus the Authority going into WrestleMania, that shit was live. When the Authority was pretty much against him, and the crowd, he was so over that year. It was crazy. His reactions were insane.
You want to talk about a pop? Whew.
His reactions were like chills down your spine type reaction. Like his reactions were blowing the roof off the places.
You beat Triple H, and then you go on Randy Orton and Batista, and you come out, and again, that it's more beautiful of a moment because you have that world title belt. Yeah,
both of them. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, yeah, he got that moment. It was that whole story build up was really good. Really love the triple threat WrestleMania 20 match with Benoit, Michaels, and Triple H. It's one of my favorite matches of all time, actually. Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 21 match, an incredible match. So those are some of my favorites. Rock and Austin WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, obviously.
Rock Hogan WrestleMania 18. That crowd too. Oh my goodness.
And if you want to talk about another moment, Eddie Guerrero winning, what was it, the undisputed title at that time?
The WWE title, from Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was the same night with Benoit.
Benoit won at WrestleMania. He won the month before at No Way Out. So it was perfect timing because the moment they had at WrestleMania when they were both sitting in the ring of champions, Benoit's the WWE champion, Eddie Guerrero WWE champion. That's still my favorite WrestleMania moment of all time, personally. That's like up there, man.
Especially when you see the background of how good of friends they were even before. It was just that moment.
That's still one of my favorite my favorite WrestleMania moments. Well, actually, that's probably number one. Actually, I would say that would probably be my number one favorite WrestleMania moment. By that one, and then Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth WrestleMania 7. That would be my second one. But I liked that moment. I liked rocking Cena Part 1. I still think that the second match should have been triple threat with CM Punk in it. Or it should have been CM Punk versus John Cena at that WrestleMania. I don't think the second match was necessary.
They kind of fumbled that one.
I don't think the second match was necessary. I know they did it just so John Cena get that win back. from The Rock, but the match was supposed to be once in a lifetime. I don't think it made a lot of sense to
do it again.
To have the rematch. Personally, in my opinion, that's just how I felt about it. But yeah, man, it was good chatting some wrestling with you.
I needed this, man. This was pretty fun.
I'll let you plug in your stuff again and tell people where they can follow you and
you can follow me on TikTok at Axel Guzman 107. That's AXELGUZMAN 107. And that's the only platform I'm on. Give your boy a follow.
And he posts a bunch of wrestling on there too. So if you're a wrestling fan,
bunch of wrestling, WWE mostly, but I'm getting into everything else. I just need some more ideas. I'm thinking as we speak at the moment.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Be safe, everybody. Be safe. Tune in. I'm probably gonna have some. May have some reactions for TLC tonight for you guys. We're still working on the. For all the people who watch my channel for the drafts, one of the people that I did the drafts with, he got COVID. So the draft is postponed until further notice until things can progress because he's in pretty bad shape right now, fighting the COVID virus. So I'm gonna try to have one more draft before the end of 2020, before we head into 2021. But there's no guarantees at this point. It depends on how much better he can progress through the days. So make sure you guys stay tuned though for my upcoming stuff. Make sure you guys go follow my TikTok, Narcotics194. Go follow his stuff too. Go check his stuff out, and we're out.